Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Javier. Javier is from Mexico City, but he lives in California in the USA. So let's see what Javier has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello, Javier. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for taking the time on Sunday morning for the interview. Thank you.
It's okay, no worries. You're
So tell,
welcome.
so tell me, how's your morning going so far?
So far so good, A good, bright start of the day.
Do you consider yourself to be more of a morning or a night person?
I'm more of both actually. So I'm usually up late and usually up early, so I'm kind of both. Cannot really sleep in for too long.
So tell me, where are you from, Javier?
I am from Mexico City. I was born and raised in Mexico City, and at the moment I live in California.
And why the change from Mexico City to California?
Just this adventure, always willing of living outside of your comfort zone and exploring different places and exploring a different life is always like, you know, uh something like as a goal for
Uh-huh.
or I think it should be a goal for everyone, like not like just work and live in your same area that you were born. It's easy. It's obviously a comfort zone. Like I know that, home is home, and whenever I need it, I can always go home, and I know my parents will be there, and I know that, you know, everyone I grew up with will be around. But it's always, you know, I'm always being adventurous. I'll always be like, I'm gonna live there, like, and I'm a traveler myself, so whenever I travel, I'm like, I could live here. So I just came back from Asia and traveling through Thailand, I met a lot of expats over there. So considering maybe in the future moving to Thailand. So
And your family are back in Mexico City.
that's correct. Yeah. My parents and my brother live in Mexico City.
I see.
So I
And
try
what
to visit every once in a while.
and what do you do for work for living, Javier?
I am a chiropractor.
So tell me a little bit
So,
about your journey so far.
okay. So I obviously was born and raised in Mexico City, so I did college and grad school in Mexico City before moving to the United States. So I did medical school in Mexico. So I am a licensed physician.
Mhm.
However, when you move to a different country, sometimes those studies do not transfer or they put so many barriers, in front of you, saying like, well, yeah, it's great that you did that over there, but for here you have to go through all these series of steps, right? So in a sense, they kind of wanted me to redo mostly all medical school here, right? The majority of the schools also are very expensive, so obviously they want the money. And in my mind, I was like, well, I don't want to do again 8 years, to do what I was doing and learning the same thing. And my goal was always to do sports medicine as a specialty. So, doing some research on who actually is working more with athletes, you know, is always has been more physical therapists and chiropractors. So, you know, I took the path to maybe do another doctorate, learning something different, and actually work in the population I wanted to work. So, in a sense, instead of repeating like, everything to get there, I just took a different route that would take me there, in a sense faster because it was only 3 years compared to, redoing all medical school. And, I'm working with athletes.
Amazing. Okay, so during the interview, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your career and also about your life so far, okay?
Perfect.
Javier, before we start our journey within the Magic Box, I would like you to tell me something interesting about yourself or maybe something that not many people know about you.
Mm, well, I funny guy. Like probably not a lot of people know. Like I love Eurovision. I'm a huge fan of Eurovision. So yesterday I hosted a whole party and it was a fun time and I know all the songs. I know the lyrics of every single song
My God.
and so all my friends are like, "Oh my God, like how do you do this?" But I do follow the contest since, you know, the season starts normally late
Wow.
December,
Uh-huh.
and I follow national finals. I
Wow.
follow the news, etc. So, I keep my interest in that. Besides being a nerd for Eurovision, I'm also I like working out. I do CrossFit regularly. Even though I
Mm-hmm.
have had multiple injuries, I keep coming back and doing it again. So
Actually, I made a note here about Eurovision because I remember since we got connected and we start to find a date for the our interview. And you mentioned about Eurovision because it's a big event and you watch a lot. So I made a note here. And actually, I
yeah,
watched last night as well. And I'll be gonna be honest to you. I'm happy that Switzerland won. However, I think Croatia. Oh my God, they were in my heart when I saw them going to the second place. I start to get. I said, "Oh my God! Hopefully they're gonna win." Because I don't know. I'm happy as well with Switzerland because the singer was amazing and he represents Eurovision. However, for some reason, when I saw Croatia going to the second place, I was like, "Please, please!" His face was. He wanted so badly. I could see his face, the singer. So anyway, I'm happy about Eurovision, and I think it's events that every year it gets bigger and bigger and connects the world somehow. I think people they love it, and it's a great event for sure. Amazing.
it is, and I actually liked Switzerland, so I gave my
Amazing.
votes to Switzerland. So I'm happy about it.
Javier, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Sure.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I've got here my best full of random fun questions, okay? I'm just gonna
Okay.
play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question. All right?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Let's do it. Right, so before we start the game, during the join, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about some reason you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
Right, first question for you is what has been the happiest point in your life so far?
The happiest point in my life probably is my life right now, where, definitely you're independent, as I said, you go out of the box, you know, as Latinos, it's pretty common to live close to your parents, and a lot of people, they just do that, that they live at least in the same city, and there's not really a sense of independence, or really you don't understand it until you move away. And I know that, you know, through my struggles to my success, it has been mine.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately enough, I have not asked my parents for anything, and I don't want to ask my parents for anything. You know, it's whatever their money is their money. They should not be helping anyone. At the moment, I feel fully independent. All my decisions are mine. I am working the job I like, and I'm doing the hobby I like, which is traveling, right? So I everyone that knows me knows they're like, you're always traveling. Do you even work? And I do work a lot, but I do travel a lot. And in my sense of life or my goals are I work to travel. I don't
Amazing.
work to, oh, I'm gonna buy a house, because realistically, I probably cannot buy a house even if I save for a long time, right? California is quite expensive, and I don't need a house, right? I'm by myself, I'm single, I have a travel bug, so I don't need to buy a car every month. I don't need to, you know, get the last one every time it comes out. But definitely I work hard because I have a travel or a trip in mind for the future. So I think this is the best time of my life where I can, you know, I'm exploring the world. I've always had the travel bug. I love languages, I love cultures. So um by being independent and putting effort in my independency in uh the job I like, then be able to accomplish those hobbies and those goals.
Amazing. I think, as you said about traveling, you are investing in yourself. Traveling is about investment as well. You invest in culture, in traveling, in experience, life experience, and those, journeys. It's the only way to learn and doing it. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's great what you're doing right now. Um, which person in your family you are more close to?
Mm, it depends. So it's a little divisive a little bit with my parents. So growing up, I was close to my mom always. I
Hmm.
feel like Latinos are normally, at least Latino guys, are always close to their mothers compared
Yeah.
to their dads. Like, you know, in a sense, I, l- I loved my dad, but I was never really a friend with my dad. So I knew that I was always able to approach my mom. And
Uh-huh.
as soon as I moved out, my dad totally switched.
Wow.
So now my dad is the most caring. I don't know if it's age or just I moved out and now, you know, he has a switch of heart. But now my dad is my biggest confidant. Like he is the always checks on me, etc. Mom still is close, but my mom is more like demanding on my time sometimes. Like she's like, let's talk today. And I'm like, I can't today, you know? So, I mean, it's Mother's Day. It was Mother's Day, at least in Mexico, on Friday. It's
Yeah.
Mother's Day here today. So I called her yesterday, kind of like in the middle of both days. Uh, but she wants to talk and talk and talk. My dad is more like, how are you doing? How's everything? Send me pictures, blah, you know? But it's a little faster. But I think nowadays my dad is I'm closer to my dad than my mom. Well, equally, but in a different way.
Let's say that both of them they are watching this interview right now, and you have a moment, an opportunity to send them a message. What would you say?
Mm. Uh, well, I would definitely let them know that I love them a lot. That maybe obviously, since I'm away and always busy, I seem that not always like checking on them. I always try to. Um, I have them in the back of my mind, but I have pretty bad ADHD, so whenever I think I'm gonna text them after work, that thought just disappears when if I get busy or whatever, and then I remember 4 days afterwards, right? But I do care a lot about them, and if they were watching this interview, like I would tell them, I love you a lot. Definitely, I'm thankful for everything that you've done for me, for raising me and for teaching me the values of work, the values of honesty, and the values for, always working for your goals. My parents were always supportive of all my decisions, regardless where they were and how crazy they were. They were, do it. If it doesn't work, home is always open for you, but do your life. We did ours. We don't want to like restrain you, and they were always very supportive for me. And as I said, even though I like my independence and I don't like asking for anything from them, I know that they would give everything for me
Um,
if I accepted it, right? So I'm very thankful for the thought and for always being you know, in a sense, taking care of me. I promise that I'll be more approachable sometimes if I remember. But also I like to visit them often, so maybe visiting a little more. Sometimes I have to schedule those visits since it's not that close. So schedule it in between my other travels, so it gets a little complicated. But they know that I always try to go and
Amazing.
see them and sometimes surprise them.
Next question. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hey, next question for you is, what is your favorite place in the entire world and why?
Ooh, okay. So my favorite, even though I have a lot of favorite places in the world, even though home might seem like it's my favorite place in the world, I actually love and adore Japan. So Japan for me is magic. Normally I try not to revisit places I've been because, why not going to a different place? And, traveling unfortunately is expensive. So you can, traveling to a place that you've been is like, why spending money for that? However, Japan for me is magical. Like every time I go, it's a whole different experience. You feel like you do, even though you repeat things and do things like you already did, it feels like you've never been.
Wow,
Like I've been twice, and two times I've gone with the same friend, and we've done some stuff that we repeated and, we redid, and it just felt different, felt magical. It's always an experience. I love the food, I love the people, I love the culture in a sense, like I think it's a it has a very traditional culture meshed with a lot of new and technological culture. So that mesh is very, very cool to see. Like you cross the street and it's like very traditional neighborhood, and then you cross the street and then you have skyscrapers. But uh, as I said, like I feel like everything that's in the country, it's very happy. I do speak a little bit of Japanese myself, so
amazing.
uh, it's just not sure if you've been there, but uh, it's always I always recommend it. Everyone just approaches me to like, what should I do in Japan, and everyone I've talked to is they've had a marvelous time. So I always encourage people to go. Uh, it even feels a little nostalgic, like I've gone to different places and it feels like I went there and stuff. Japan makes me feel things. Like I remember Japan, and I don't know, it kind of like brings some like goosebumps into me because I don't know, I was just having a blast.
I never been there, but actually it's in the top of my bucket list. I'd love to go to Japan. I can't wait because, as you say, it's a I'm sure I'm gonna come back a different person because it's a beautiful culture, and I have situations interacting with Japanese people, and I can tell that I just can't wait for one day to be there and yes, explore for sure, and it will be amazing. Next question. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Javier, before the next question, tell me what's the biggest joy of being a chiropractor and what do you find most challenging about the career?
Mm, the joy of it is that definitely you can help a lot of people. Uh, you know, Mainly I treat a lot of musculoskeletal conditions, right? So even though I treat a lot of athletes that obviously will come to you, I also treat a lot of people that have pain. And pain is a little bit interesting to work with because a lot of people they just want to relieve the pain, but pain is a symptom, right? It's not a condition, right? You cannot uh you know, diagnose pain and treat pain. Normally that pain is coming from somewhere. Either you're having migraines, or you're having, a rotator cuff tear, or you're having a disc issue, like, so it is not treating the pain, but treating the condition, what we focus on. And the joy about my job is that a lot of people have pain, and whenever they get treated for pain, they just take medication, right? They just pop Tylenol every 8 hours. They pop, other pain medications, and obviously their life quality is different because they are dependent on that medication in order for them to be able to go run, be able to, function, be able to work, be able to have a life, right? In my eyes, the joy that my job brings is that I can work on the cause of that condition, and then patient will not be dependent on any medication to do this, right? So patient would not need any specific pill to have the life quality that the patient deserves, and we focus on patient's goals. So if the patient tells me I want to run a marathon, well, it's going to become my goal to be your goal, right?
Mhm.
So, uh, so my goal is to make you run that marathon. Obviously, to an extent, right? Like there's people that want to like run a marathon and like we need to work on it, right? Obviously, it's always a two-part job. So, I need to do my part, but my patient needs to do their part as well. But it is very, very, very grateful, or in a sense, it's very nice to see my patients succeed in their goals, and the joy that it brings to me and probably my patient too is reaching those goals. So, um, that's what I like.
I see. Okay. Next question is, tell us about your guilt pleasure.
Okay, my guilt pressure. Uh, Eurovision. I guess that will be it. Like I'm really into music. Uh, it's hard to find a guilt pleasure because I don't feel their guilt pleasures, but I guess it's gonna be Eurovision
Uh-huh.
because everyone thinks it's weird that I like it that much, but I like it a lot. And as I said, it's a very important thing. Besides that, I don't have anything that I would consider it's a guilt pleasure. Uh,
Okay, I'll take as
yeah,
Eurovision. It's part of
yeah,
a pleasure
yeah,
somehow.
yeah. In
Um,
a sense, right? Mainly living here in the United States, right? So
yeah,
if I lived in Europe, might be more like of a common
yeah, come on.
thing. But living, in a total different like continent, it kind of like it's my guilty pleasure. And I know, as I said, I know all the songs. Like if anyone plays a song, I'll be singing it and dancing it, and I know the choreography for everything. So like
Amazing.
I even, well, not sure if you watched it last year,
I did.
like Loreen and Khadija. So last Halloween I dressed up as Khadija. So
Wow.
I have the outfit, and I had it like handmade, the the
Yeah.
arm the arm thing, the green arm thing. So I have it even here. So I guess Eurovision could be considered my guilty pleasure for sure.
I love it. I love your. I can see your passion about Eurovision. It's great. It feels great. I remember the very first time I lived in Portugal before moving to England, and since then I remember the very first time when I watched Eurovision and I didn't know about it, and I was like, "Oh my God, what's that? That's very interesting." And since then I've been attached to it, and it's great to watch every year, get everyone together and votes and everything. So it's a great thing. Right. I have three questions left. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, Javier, next question is, tell me something that your parents did or they still do that comforts you the most.
Mm, Most likely it would be they reach out and they care about like how I'm feeling, how I'm doing. Um, you know, in an in a sense also like during the pandemic, right? Like I'm abroad, I'm by myself, right? Everyone that I know was able to travel home, and like COVID hit, and you know, at least I was a student when COVID hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a student abroad. So everyone, all my classmates left and went to their families, right? And were there for months and months, whereas for me, I was still paying rent. Instead of having my all my roommates in there, I had to pay rent on my own, uh, because they left. So, in a sense, I'm the only one living in that place, but also I couldn't, cross borders as I, wanted. If my parents live in the United States, probably would be easier, but they lived abroad. So in a sense, I felt alone, you know, like
Mhm.
my friends were gone. I couldn't really visit all my friends because, there were restrictions and I
Yep.
didn't want to, you know, get anyone sick or myself getting sick. And didn't go through depression, but I felt I was gonna get depressed in a sense. That was my fear. And they were always checking on me. So, you
That's
know,
good.
in a sense, I'm very thankful for what they did. Like without me asking them, like check on me, they they knew that I would need that call or that message. Like, how are you doing, son? Good, okay. Uh, make sure you eat healthy, whatever, like even though were always over the top with precautions and stuff, at least it felt good to have that text message checking on you. And ever since they've been, well, even before, but probably I noticed it more during COVID because that's when like a little piece of me needed that attention. So I'm definitely very thankful that they do that, and I appreciate that they keep doing that, and they always been uh you know I'm even though I'm a full adult, even though I'm 33 years old, and probably even if I was 50 and 60, hopefully they will be still alive when I'm 60, but they will still see me like the little child, like
Yeah,
always have the love as of a son, regardless of my age, and I like that.
amazing. Very good. Two questions left. Let's do
Sure.
it. Before the next question, besides your family, when you think about Mexico City, Mexico, what's the what do you miss the most about your city and your country?
Oh, the food. Absolutely the food.
Yeah,
Like the food here sucks. Well, I wouldn't say sucks. Like, I mean, it's good, but it is not Mexican food.
it's different. Yeah.
It's different. Like, whenever people are like, whenever I eat Mexican food here, it's good. I mean, it tastes good. I do like getting a burrito. I do like getting a quesadilla here, but it is not the real thing. Like, like for me, it was a delicious burrito, but this is not Mexican food. So,
Do you like
the f
cooking?
I like cooking, but I also do not have time to cook.
I see.
I work a lot through the day, and then I get home pretty late. For me to like engage in cooking too much, I'm
Yep.
hungry, I'm starving. It's already 9 p.m. I don't want to like start eating at midnight, which has happened before if I cook. So I usually do not cook unless I cook for someone else as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
if I am having guests, I love cooking. If I, maybe have a date, I like cooking. But if it's for myself, like, I just want to eat, sit down on the couch or, do stuff instead of like spending too much time cooking, like I like doing it, but it definitely takes time. So I'm simple with my dinners, like I make things, even though it's cooking, it's a fast cooking, just put things together,
Mm-hmm.
cook them
Yeah.
fast and then eat them in a bowl. Uh, but the food in Mexico City is definitely something I miss. The real tacos. Every time I go, my parents know exactly where I'm going. Like they every time I go, my parents are like, okay, when do you want to go to this restaurant? And I'm like, oh, this day. And then when do you want to go to these other restaurants? Even my parents, like my mom knows when I go, she always asks me, what do you want me to cook for you? And I send her my request, and she just makes sure
Oh,
she plans food accordingly. But
amazing.
yeah, that's definitely no-brainer. And I was in Singapore, and my friend wanted Mexican food, and I was like,
No,
I don't even like Mexican food in California. Why do you think I'm gonna like it in Singapore? So anyway, so it's definitely the food, and every time I take friends to Mexico City, they they know how to compare. They're like, wow, what is this?
different. Yeah.
And I have places in Puerto Vallarta, places in Cancun to go, and whenever friends go, I tell them, try this place. And now I have people that are obsessed with the places I sent them. They're like, this is just so good.
Amazing. Good. Next question is, which person do you talk to the most?
Mm, okay, so I have really good friends here. So I would say I talk to a lot of my friends a lot. I have one of my friends that is a very close friend. He went to Thailand with me. Um, and I would say chat with my friend Chris a lot. We swim together. We do a lot of activities together.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we've been good friends ever since I moved to the United States. Probably not as close as we are now, but we've been, you know, we like traveling together some like most of the times. I try to join them. He also has a little travel bug, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I do, chat a lot with him. I have I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of group of friends. I would say I also chat with another whole group of friends. We have a group chat and pops every day. We're going to Palm Springs in a couple weeks for Memorial Day. So, I chat with a lot of people. I would say my friend Chris, my roommates, and this other group of friends that, you know, th- they're a little more party animals. They're more towards the party side of it. But, you know, the it's interesting that I hang out with the people that party a lot, but I don't even drink. So, uh, I see the value more of a friendship rather than the party value. Uh, so yeah, so those are the people I speak to the most.
Ready for the last question?
Ready?
Let's do it. Last
Uh,
question. Before the last question, Javier, people watch this interview right now. They would like to start a career in, to become a chiropractor. What would be your best piece of advice for those people?
For people starting the career?
They would like to start a career. What would be
Oh,
your
okay, okay. Well, the best advice that I would be able to give is, you are becoming a provider that is gonna help other people
Mhm,
with their issues, right? Whatever they are, not necessarily talking about pain, whatever their issues, functionality, uh, performance, like people want to get better at their sport, or people cannot raise their arm, you have to help them with function. So the best advice I can give someone is like always put the most of yourself into it
mhm.
because you're working with lives, right? I teach as well. Actually, I mean, I didn't mention it, but I am also a professor. So I teach these students. I teach them more towards the biological side of medicine. So I teach biochemistry, I teach nutrition, I teach clinical laboratory diagnosis, and a lot of my students don't see the value of it. They're like, I'm becoming a chiropractor. I just need my hands. Yeah, but you're a doctor as well. So, uh, you know, if you're gonna treat with lives, you need to understand the patient's physiology. Yes, you treat people with your hands, but you need to see the patient as a whole, whatever their medications they're taking, whatever conditions they're having. Maybe, you know, you cannot work with athletes without understanding nutrition. You need to be able to provide nutritional advice, what to take, supplements, like all that is going to be important. And you need to understand what could be happening with these patients, right? A lot of patients have rheumatological conditions, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and they'll present with low back pain. You need to be able to diagnose this, take a thorough history, get into the diagnosis, see if you need additional testing, or the patient might bring you the testing, and if you're clueless about it, well, where is that going to take you, right? So I like to tell people to set the difference between being just a provider and a doctor, right? You are
Mm-hmm.
not just a chiropractor, you're a doctor in chiropractic. And the word doctor, yes, it's not just, you know, for your mom to be proud that to have a doctor as a son, but it's for you to know everything about your patient, right? And what I, any advice that I'm gonna tell anyone starting the career is that yeah, it's you're gonna become a doctor, and you need to know everything. So you please put an effort into that title, right? You're not just a doctor by passing an exam. You're a doctor because of the knowledge and the experience you have, and that is gonna lead you into treating lives, right? When we're dealing with lives, you should not be taking things easily. Every single of my patients, even though, you know, I'm very friendly with my patients and they love me and we chat and we laugh, you know, I care about them and my patients know that I will not let them leave until they feel better.
Yep.
Even if I'm running behind, they're like, "Do you have time?" Like, my God, like I don't want to delay you. I'm like, I'm not gonna let you go if that's the hurting. Let me do a little bit of additional work there and stuff. So, in a sense, is advice is give all of you into it. If that's really what you want to do, you're gonna become a
Mm-hmm.
doctor. Please learn a lot about it, like a lot of physiology, anatomy, everything about your patient, even pharmacology, like even though you don't prescribe medication, you need to know what the patient is taking. If the patient is taking a bunch of these medications that maybe decalcify their bones, well, maybe the patient has osteoporosis, even though no one has diagnosed it, right? So it's important to maybe do a little additional testing before you actually, start, making this patient being all these positions and working their bodies. So uh yeah, that's the biggest advice I can give.
Amazing. Last question is, what's your luck number and why you consider that?
I don't know why I consider 4 my lucky number. I
Uh-huh.
always liked 4s. I don't know why. Ever since I was a kid, 4 and 8s appealed to me, and I don't know why. uh and 8 probably because it comes from 4, times 4.
Interesting.
Like
Interesting.
so I always liked 4 and 44 and 48 and not really 80, but like 88, 84. Anything that had 4s and 8s in it was always kind of like appealing to me. Not necessarily I would think it's my lucky number, but it's the appealing number for me. So even
Amazing.
though the sports that I play and I had to choose a number, usually I'm 44. Not because I'm like, I think the number is gonna bring me any luck, or I don't play lottery and anything like that. But I remember growing up, my dad would buy lottery tickets and would let us, scratch the thing. We loved just like feeling the circles and take it for certain that there will be 4s and 8s scratched in there, right? If I was doing it. Not because I thought it was lucky number, but I always wanted to choose the 4s and 8s. So now as an adult, if I play sports or anything and I choose my numbers for my jersey or for my shirt, I always choose uh you know anything with 4s or 8s.
Amazing. Very good. Right, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Okay,
Okay.
let's start with family.
Okay.
One word for family.
One more for family. Love,
Money,
success.
fear,
Let me think about it. Fear. Um, necessary.
okay, love,
Warm.
life,
Travel.
sex,
Passion.
religion,
Out.
politics.
Out.
One word for friendship.
Care.
Desire,
Hardworking.
Regret.
I'm not sure about that one. That's a
Okay, come
hard one.
on. Okay. One word for success.
Uh, Goals.
Wish.
Hardworking.
Okay. One word for happiness.
Goals again.
One word for Mexico City.
Home.
One word for California.
Independency.
One word for chiropractor.
Uh, Passion.
One word for Japan.
Desire.
And the last one now, Eurovision. One word.
Guilty pleasure.
I love it. Let's pretend I'm going to meet your best friend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask a best friend. Define Javier in one positive word and one negative word only. What your best friend would say?
Caring for positive, anxious for negative.
Interesting. Right, let's play now Javier in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Before you ask me the question, tell me your favorite Japanese word,
Okay, my favorite Japanese word is utsuku,
which means
beauty.
amazing. Okay, you can ask me a question now.
Um, what are your goals in life?
Amazing. I love the question actually. You know, my goals right now that I want to achieve, I would like to, to work as a full time in the Magic Box. I would like to get my channel in a bigger proportion where I can connect with more people. You know, I want to implement others projects as well. But the biggest goal for me right now is, to get my channel monetized, yeah, on YouTube, and also become like in a bigger proportion where I can implement other projects as well, connect with the Magic Box for sure. That's my biggest goal right now.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good goal. No,
Amazing. Did you enjoy the interview?
I enjoyed the interview a lot.
Thanks so much. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for being so sweet. And it's fascinating to see someone, from the other side of the world enjoying so much Eurovision. I think it's great. I think it's great.
Yeah,
And
and I try to, it's kind of like a cult. I try to like convert everyone into a Eurovision fan here. So I invite so many people to these parties and everyone's like, "Oh my God, when's Eurovision? I cannot wait for next year," you know?
that's amazing.
Because everyone just had a lot of fun and, you know, I try to
It's
make it
about
fun for people.
it's about connecting people and connect the world as well. That's
Hmm.
amazing. People cheering up for other countries, and it's fascinating. Before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
As a positive message, I always say, um, to work hard for your goals. Set yourself goals. A lot of people that I know, they want to do things, but they do not know where to start. First thing is write them down, right? If you have a visual of your goals, it's easy to approach them, right? Just thinking about them might not be the way to start working on them, but if you write them, maybe like put a post-it on the wall and be like, I want to travel to this place this year. You're gonna work on it eventually, It's
Yeah.
visuals change a lot. Work towards your goals, and I think you know, work towards your passion, whatever you think it's beautiful, work through it. Like, my favorite word in Japanese is otsuku because, I believe in the beauty of life
Yeah.
and whatever you think it's beautiful. So I actually have a tattoo on my arm in Japanese that says, "Utsushikerewa sore de ii." That means if it's beautiful, it's good enough. So
Wow.
for me, whatever it's beautiful, it's gonna be good enough, like even if it's not good enough for someone else, if it's beautiful for me, and it will be. So I think it's a good positive message for everyone, like don't care and don't think you need to be don't fear to be judged.
Yeah,
And if you're not under other people's standards, well, that's totally fine. If you believe something is beautiful and you believe your life is beautiful and you love where you are, doesn't matter what like everyone else is thinking about it. It's you enjoy your life. It's your life, not their life. So don't fear to be judged. And that's a reminder for me, like I always feared to be judged and I always wanted to be, you know, to the standards of everyone. But no, actually, you need to, love yourself, love your life, love who you are. And, that's why I say, if it's beautiful, it's good enough, You don't need
amazing.
anything else. So,
I love it. I love the message. Muitas gracias.
de nada.
Thanks so much, Javier. We keep in touch, okay? It was a pleasure having you on the show, okay? Enjoy your day, all right?
Thank you so much. It was amazing being here.
Take care. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you as well. Bye bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.